Hello. Welcome. My name is Matthew Kuntz, and I'm an engineer on the watchOS Frameworks team. I'm thrilled to be here today alongside my friend and colleague, Josh Weinberg, to talk about how we can use SwiftUI to build some really amazing experiences that happen right on your wrist. Since our humble beginnings in watchOS 1, the Apple Watch has evolved significantly, and watchOS has evolved right along with it. Over the years, we've been adding some really great APIs and features that have enabled all of you to build some really awesome experiences. But that is just the beginning. Because with watchOS 6, we've brought the platform to a whole new level. With independent apps, we've decoupled the iOS and watchOS experiences. And for the first time, your apps can be downloaded right on Apple Watch with the new App Store. We've also added support for some new APIs like streaming audio and extended runtime sessions. But we also brought something super awesome, and that is the full power of SwiftUI to watchOS. With SwiftUI's powerful declarative syntax and its integration right into Xcode's canvas, it's never been easier to express the views that you want to build. And on watchOS, it means that we have a whole new UI framework. And with it comes some really awesome features, APIs, and just a whole new world of possibilities for things that you can build. For example, with List, we finally brought support for swipe to delete and drag to reorder. And with SwiftUI's powerful animations, you can create completely complex, interruptible, and custom animations happening right on the watch. Now, SwiftUI is fully integrated with WatchKit, which means that you can have SwiftUI views that live right alongside your existing WatchKit interface controllers. And we even have support for embedding some WatchKit-provided interface objects directly within your SwiftUI view hierarchies, like the brand new Sign In with Apple button. In fact, SwiftUI has really robust support for integrating with all of our existing UI frameworks. And we have a whole talk dedicated to the topic that I highly recommend that you check out. All right, so SwiftUI is fully immersed in the watchOS experience, which means that you can use all those great APIs we've added with watchOS 6 and all those awesome things we've been adding over the years. Whether you're using a streaming audio app, you're using our new extended runtime features, or you're creating something completely new for the platform. For the first time, we have a UI framework that works on all of our devices. Whether you're developing for the 38mm Apple Watch or creating something for a 65-inch television, all of it can be done with SwiftUI. But the Apple Watch is a unique device and has its own considerations when building an application. Creating for Apple Watch is more than just creating a miniaturized version of your iOS app. It's about distilling down what makes your experience great. An Apple Watch is a highly personal device and provides easy access to vital information. So while your iOS app may be used for a couple minutes while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, on Apple Watch, the interactions are typically a bit shorter. People see information at a glance and respond with just a few taps. All right, so creating for Apple Watch may start in your application, but it's about building an experience that spans all these different touch points we offer throughout the system. Whether you're creating a dynamic notification, using Siri-relevant actions to show timely information right on the watch face, or using complications. So that experience is really important to Apple Watch, and defining that experience is even more important. That experience should be a couple different things. And it should be contextual and timely, showing the right information to your users at the right time. It should be highly legible, showcasing beautiful design right on the watch screen. And it should prioritize quick interactions, getting things done with just a few taps. Which brings us right back to SwiftUI. Because with SwiftUI, you can finally build those experiences that you've always wanted to build for Apple Watch. So today, let's take a look at a couple different ways we can use SwiftUI on watchOS. First, we'll see how we can use SwiftUI in an application, build an engaging and highly interactive notification, and harness the power of the digital crown to create a tactile experience. So let's get started by looking at an app. And let's look at an app that Josh and I have been working on. All right, so here I am in Xcode, and the app Josh and I have been working on is called Pop Quiz. It's a flashcard app that lets me take my studies with me anywhere. And what I have open right now is my interface controller. If you've used WatchKit before, interface controllers will feel familiar. And this is an interface controller, but it's a bit different. First, this interface controller is subclassing WK hosting controller, which is a type of interface controller that is provided by SwiftUI. Now, because this is a type of interface controller, I can use this interface controller wherever I'm using other interface controllers. For example, this one is set up in my storyboard to be the initial interface controller for this app, making this interface controller the entry point for my application. But for example, if I wanted to use a paging interface, in my storyboard, I can set up my interface controller here to be paged alongside other WK interface controllers, which gives us a nice interoperability between WatchKit and SwiftUI. I can also push to this interface controller using the same WatchKit interface controller push APIs. Or I can use SwiftUI's navigation button and give a destination of an interface controller name and push to WatchKit from SwiftUI. OK, so let's go back to this code. So one other thing you might notice here that's a bit different from using WatchKit is that there's no IB outlets. That's because with WK hosting controller and SwiftUI, our entire application's interface controller's views are defined with SwiftUI. That's so awesome. So something else that's new here is this use of the body property. And this is a type of property that's provided by WK hosting controller. And we override it here. This body property lets us specify which SwiftUI view we want associated to our interface controller. In this case, it's our topic list, which is just a list of topics I have of different flashcards. And you can see a preview of it over here on the right side. All right, so let's go dive into our topic list. So as the name implies, our topic list is a list. And this list says for each topic in my model, I'm creating a navigation button that's going to go to another SwiftUI view, in this case, the flashcard list. And it creates a topic cell. And I'm using this list row platter color modifier, which is what's putting that color on each of these cells. If I go down here to my topic cell, you can see that it's pretty simple right now. Right now, it's just using my topic's title, and it's being modified to use the system rounded font, which looks gorgeous on Apple Watch. OK, one other thing to note here at the top is this use of @object binding. @object binding is how I'm letting SwiftUI know that this model is the source of truth for this view, and that my view should be updated whenever this model changes. Now, understanding how data flows through SwiftUI is a fundamentally important topic, and we have a whole talk dedicated to it called Data Flow in SwiftUI, and I highly recommend that you check that out. For now, what we need to know is that this is how I'm keeping my model and my list in sync. So let's go ahead and make this preview live by pressing the play button here. The play application comes alive, and I can scroll it right within Xcode. And you can see by default, we have a pretty well-behaving application. Just by using list, we're doing some really cool things under the hood, like giving this really nice animation here as the list scrolls. We collapse the cells, and it feels like your content is just flowing right off your wrist. All right, so there's been a couple things I've been meaning to do to this list. Let's go ahead and do those now. First is I want to add a label to each of in my topic cell here that just shows the count of cards I have for each of my topics. Just so I can see at a glance, like, how many more things do I need to study? Let's go ahead and just do that now. And to do that, I need a VStack. Well, the editor in Xcode makes that super easy to do. I can just command-click on my text here and bring up the quick action menu. And I can select the Embed in VStack option. The code is inserted. And now below this text, I can add the count of cards I have. And you can see the preview updates right away. Now, you can see that VStack aligns center by default. And in this case, I want a leading alignment. Again, we can do that with the editor. If I select this VStack, command-click on it, and select the inspector, I get this window that shows me different kinds of modifiers I can apply to this VStack. And in this case, I want to use the leading alignment option. You can see the preview updates again right away. It's just super fast. Now, we're using leading alignments and trailing alignments in SwiftUI because by default, we support right-to-left languages. If I have a localizable strings file in my project that has Arabic or Hebrew, by default, this entire app's user interface will flip and will support right-to-left languages by default. All right, so there's actually something else I want to add here, which is like a symbol I have associated to each of these topics. And I want that to appear on the leading side of both of my texts. And I can do that with an HStack. So again, let's use the editor here, command-click on this VStack, and select the Embed in HStack option. And then I can insert my symbol, which is just an emoji. Now, that's a bit small. It's actually like that a bit bigger. So again, I can return to our now familiar inspector, command-click on this text, bring up the inspector, and you can see I now have different contextual options. And I can select here on my font a title font. And these inspectors make it so easy to learn and like how to add and modify this code, because it's adding real code into my code base. It's not changing a plist file on my storyboard. It's actually teaching me how to write good SwiftUI code.